again. I think you got noise cancellation on.
I can help you one more time. I just said we could do process ontology.
That's not a proposition, retard.
Oh, no, it's a proposition in my view. You want to go against it, retard?
Okay, look, process ontology is true.
There we go.
All right, Flo, you want to take the view process ontology is true?
Acceptable.
Okay, so let me just announce it real quick. Let me say it verbally. So,
Pragmatically acceptable.
all right, so welcome everyone to today's debates. This video is going to be Synth versus Flo on the proposition process ontology is true, where Flo will be taking the affirmative view.
Pragmatically acceptable.
You can find us at discord.gg/KG Lounge. And with that being said, y'all can get right into it.
By the
All
way,
right.
fix the title.
So, Tim, are you ready? I'm going to ask you a question before we start. You're a classical logician, yes or no?
You're going to ask me a question before we start? No.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
No, you can ask questions once we start.
That's fine. Listen, the main point is this. So when we go into process ontology, obviously, we're going to have the differentiation that's going to be obviously ontologically primary. But in the sense of the identity for which has the individuation from Simondon, you're going to probably just say that identity has the individuation as the type of genetic condition. So stop fucking... Why is this...
No way!
Nigga slithering everywhere. What the fuck is this saliva going, my nigga? What the hell?
Look, I'm going to have to... Listen, I'm going to have to enforce talking sick if y'all do this, though.
But the individuation is going to be that for which is going to be the genetic conditions. That's going to be internal.
Sounds like Apollo.
To that for which is going to be
individuation, right?
The individuation, right? Yes.
Okay. What's your response to the regress problem?
Regress problem of what?
In process ontology, what's your response to the regress problem?
So what's the regression? Can you go ahead and stipulate it?
He doesn't know what it is.
Because there's multiple of them.
I just want to make sure. Really?
Yeah, can you show me, hold on, can you show me what's your regress problem?
What's Whitehead's first name?
Why are you trying to run? Look at him.
I'm running into you. I'm running into you.
Wait, where the fuck are you going?
What is Whitehead's first name?
I'm asking this one more time. Can you go ahead and tell me what's going to be the regression
He just says random words. Is this how most people in the server operate? They just, you getting server muted? Don't server
I'm gonna let you, because look, Synth, we want to see y'all have a real debate, twin.
Yeah, but this guy doesn't do that.
Synth.
Yeah, what's up?
I want you to put into question anything you need him to answer.
Okay. I wanted to answer what response does he use to the regress problem?
Stipulate it?
Is that you saying you don't know what it is? I'll stipulate it for you if you say you don't know what it is.
I'm unmuted. Holy shit. So I'm asking, can you stipulate it? Because I don't know why you keep on running.
Yeah, so the regress problem, so you understand how in process ontology you hold the view that you were making a claim about something which is more fundamental than substance ontology, right? By removing a mystery about how persistent objects endure through change.
Nice ChatGPT analysis. Keep going.
You think it's ChatGPT?
No, I just know that you're probably using it because you're low tier, but keep going.
You just not know anything about the subject?
No, you just have dialectical imperfectionism, but try one more time.
Dialectical imperfectionism? Yeah,
I'm glad you can try to repeat my rhetoric to idolize me. Keep going.
Why do you just say random words?
Why do you keep on being confused like you are about your gender?
You're losing optically. You're doing terribly on optics.
No, you're losing optically. You keep on going to the fucking crowd for validation after I'm fucking blowing you out. So I'm going to ask you this one more time.
You're
Sit down like a good little cuck boy. You actually answer.
You're upset. You sound like you're about to cry. Are you going to cry?
My nigga,
are you gonna start crying?
My nigga, we're
this
actually
is horrible. This is so gross.
I'm actually just
you're just spazzing.
You're trying to overargue.
You're just spazzing. Relax. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, now can you go ahead?
Most of he's reading about AI.
You dumb little bitch.
Relax. Calm down.
I'm actually relaxed.
Actually, I'm super calm right now. Actually, I'm so calm. So, is there anybody in the server who's actually good at debate? Because you just kind of spew out random words. Oh, you went silent. You okay? Womp womp.
Yo, Flo, are you here?
I think he killed himself or ripped his router out of the wall or something. Total Flow death.
No, that's unfortunate.
By the way, this is your Apex tier debater. Bro, raped into silence.
I literally
annihilated, enslaved
for 5 minutes. I literally got cut out for 5 minutes.
5 minutes? That wasn't 5 minutes.
Well, not for 5 minutes, obviously.
Yeah, that wasn't 5 minutes. That's concession number one, right?
Figure that out, but that's
going to be concession number one, right?
Stipulate the infinite regress problem.
That's going to be concession number one, right?
That's not a concession, but you can try one more time.
Why don't you go ahead and stipulate the infinite regress problem?
Yeah, I'm glad you could try to repeat me again. Keep it going.
So, you understand that if process P transitions into P sub 2, right?
It's not that
The
process
relationship.
P transitions into a P
You
sub
asked
2,
me
which that's going to be
to
stratified. That's stratified.
stipulate the regress problem, right?
Yes, with the regresses. Go
Right.
ahead. I'm waiting.
I'm telling
Right.
you. I'm telling you. Is the substrate a substance or
It's
is it a
not that
timeless
for which is a
relation?
substrate. And it's not that for which has a timeless relation, because the relation is that for which is going to be configured as the genetic conditions.
He just
So
spams
to actually
random
speak about
words.
it, hold
He's
on,
just
slow down.
melting
I'm
down.
talking cuckboy.
This is
But
the
listen,
average
the main point is
continental
this: it's not
philosopher,
that
by
for
the
which
way.
is the thing. It's that for what? No, it's not.
Here's
that for
what
which
we're
is the
gonna
thing,
do,
which is
right?
a condition that's going to
Look,
be permanently configured.
right,
I'm gonna stop yelling.
look,
Nigga.
right. What we're gonna do is have a good faith linear debate.
I think we're very.
And we're
good
gonna
faith.
get clear
Now
on the
let's look at
terms,
linearization
right?
again.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get clear on the terms.
Because
So what you're gonna do is what? You don't have to serve him, you know. Fucking let him
Oh
pass.
look,
It's funny as fuck.
I ain't gonna lie. I got in first talking stick. The audience are saying they want to see y'all debate, bro. They're not seeing you guys debate right now.
I know Flo's too scared to. He's just saying random words. He
Okay,
pretended to know a bunch of
I'm
random
gonna let
shit
him.
straight up.
Seth, I'm gonna let him respond if you have nothing to say.
Okay. Let him respond.
What's happening?
What's happening? Who's in your system?
for a fucking magnet eye. I'm gonna ask you this one more time. So instead of running, where is going to be the regress? I'm waiting.
I just told you.
No, I told you that your regress already assumed this type of substratum for which things are going to be persisting
Substratum.
under the staticness. Oh my god, you just
Assumes
want
this
fucking
type of
continental
substratum.
philosophy. You don't know what you're talking about, but I can't disprove you. I'm just gonna keep on laughing and then go
You
to the
mean
crowd so I can actually
substratum?
get rhetorical output. No!
How do you
You
spell
actually go against what I'm trying to
substrantum
say?
with that extra N in there? Substrantum.
Yeah, you have substratum.
You mean
Do you know what that is?
substratum?
Substratum.
There's not an extra N in there.
Is there extra in there? Look at him. He's focused on the fucking rhetoric.
This
He's
is the
focused on
classic
pronunciation. He's
flow
focused on the
consonantal
phonetics,
retard
but he's not
move.
getting to the
All right,
You
subject.
are you guys
just
done here?
spaz out.
No.
Yeah, I think we're done here.
Why is he not?
I don't know, Flo, do you have anything else to say? Okay, fuck it. He's
Shit,
gone.
you could do the gauntlet method twin if they're not going to debate. Shit,
Yeah, we'll see.
man. All right. Anybody else in the audience want to debate, Seth?
Raise your hands. Come up on the stage and raise your hands.
Okay, I can tell you your options. You can do scribbled, saucy, or rookie.
Fuck it, any of them.
Yo, I ain't seeing Eric versus dude.
Yo, do you want to debate or no?
Crazy.
Yo, Slim, I ain't seeing Eric versus.
Yo, Scribble, do you want to debate or no?
Just for me to get my butt cheeks like ripped in half. Nah, you got it. No, but you can.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next person. Saucy, you're on the stage.
Oh, Sinthe, long time no see, buddy. How you been?
What's up?
Saucy, are you debating or not, bitch?
Did you go by anything else in the past? Or have you always been saucy?
Always been saucy. We talked about veganism last time we spoke.
Oh, what's up? You want to talk
I
about
actually want
veganism
to
again?
talk about that again. Yeah.
Hell
I have
yeah.
a new trait this time, though. I have a new trait. I want to see what you think.
Oh, you want to talk about name the trait in particular?
Yeah.
So you don't want me to just forward whatever my argument is for veganism. You want me to defend NTT?
Actually, Loki, I want you to do that, but I want to debate about NTT because I haven't gotten an argument for vegan ethics yet. So I do want you to do that later, but after the NTT stuff.
Which you've never heard somebody give you an argument for vegan ethics? Not like one that you think succeeds, but like you've never heard any argument for it?
No one's ever given me an argument for it. They usually just
That's
run
crazy.
NTT. Yeah, they just run
Wow.
NTT. That's all they do.
Yeah,
But
which
I
is a
only debate
dialectical
TikTok
tool,
vegans,
unlike an
so.
argument.
You said what?
Which would be a dialectical tool, not an argument.
Oh yeah, facts. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
But no,
We can talk about veganism.
all right, cool. Yeah, I think the trait is. I think it's having what is it? Oh yeah, mental states similar or identical to humans. That's what I think the trait is.
And by similar there, you mean what?
Just fairly comparable.
Right, but that's still vague, right? So I'm trying to ask for something more specific, because what I would say is like, why isn't a pig similarly comparable to humans?
Because the way that pigs think about them, like their introspection, their desires, their hopes, their dreams, they just seem fairly distinct from that of humans. And
Right,
when
they
I
just-
say similar, I guess I just
I don't know how you
mean
know that.
you don't know how I know that?
Yeah, how did you gain that insight that they're like distinct from humans as a full category? Like, there's no human out there that like thinks like a pig.
No, I don't think so. Like even if we take the
Why?
most, I mean, if we take the most retarded among us, like Flo is a good example. I mean, even Flo has even Flo has dreams and desires, right? Like there are some Down syndrome kids that are lawyers. Some of them can play piano. I mean, there's this one Down
Wait,
syndrome
but like,
kid.
why do we think pigs don't have desires? I'm confused here.
What the types of desires? So I think pigs definitely have desires. I just don't know if pigs have the desire to play the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata. I'm not so sure
Right,
they
but
have
I
those
don't-
types of desires.
Do you have that desire to play the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata? I don't.
No, but I have the desire to work on Wall Street, right? Like the desires that I have seem ambitious in only a way that human beings can have those kinds of desires.
There are non-ambitious humans, right? There are humans who have like basically no desires other than just really simple, like plain ones, like they want to like eat or survive till the next day and that kind of thing. Like there are people out there without ambition.
I don't think I've ever met a human being that doesn't have some sort of ambitious desire. I'm not so
Well,
sure that's true.
What about the severely mentally disabled? Right? Like they don't have like strong ambition.
No, but that's why I brought up the kids, the Down syndrome kids, right? Because there's this one Down syndrome kid who wanted to become a lawyer, and he became a lawyer. There's
Well,
this
Down
one Down
syndrome
syndrome
people
kid
are
who wanted
not
to play
as
piano,
severely
and he
mentally
did it.
disabled as like. Have you heard of the mentally disabled girl that Ask Yourself always brings up is Brie? She's like very substantially mentally disabled. You seen her?
No, I've never seen her.
I'll show you an example. You'll grasp it pretty quickly. She's probably like dumber than a pig.
Dumber than a pig.
Right. There are probably people, I'm sure we can both agree there are people out there who are so substantially mentally disabled that they are almost certainly more mentally disabled or more cognitively deficient than a pig is, right?
Okay, well that's a different question. Okay,
aspirational.
so let's actually stipulate there is a person like that because I think it gets kind of interesting.
Can you eat
Do
them?
you think it's? I was about to ask you. Do you think it's immoral to eat them?
Yeah, for sure. Do you?
But do you genuinely? Because I've been talking with some people. There are
But
some
I
people
just
that
asked you
don't
this
have that
question, you
intuition.
dodged though.
Do I think? Do I think that? I mean, okay. I do think it's immoral, but I'm not sure how immoral it is.
right.
I don't think
So
it's
you
as
think it's
immoral as if I were
immoral.
to eat you.
Right, that's whatever, but this means that you just kind of contradicted yourself because they don't have your trait.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess that is an issue. If there's someone that retarded, I mean, I guess that is an issue.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
yeah.
And there almost certainly is, right? There are people out there who are like, I mean, the thing that you said is just being unambitious.
Mhm.
There are people.
But
I mean,
it's a multitude.
look,
But I
I'm
mean, like,
sure that like half of the
that
Discord
retarded.
VC here if it's that.
No, probably. I mean, we do have fucking. Actually, let me not name names. But yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. But I mean, like, I'm not so sure because I was talking with someone who's going to go unnamed, and they were trying to convince me that eating someone that retarded wouldn't be immoral. And they were saying some things that were convincing, but I still have the intuition. But I don't know. I wanted to ask you about that. I was kind of curious.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you there. I think it would be deeply immoral to. I think it would be deeply immoral to eat like a person who's that mentally deficient, equivalent to a pig. So the mental traits I think aren't going to get you out of anything. But I'm sure we can both agree that like dogs aren't ambitious, for example, right?
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah.
Yeah, but we still think
I
it's wrong to
agree.
torture dogs.
Oh no, factory farming I think is obviously immoral. I think that's very obvious.
Look,
you
Saucy,
pay
if you
for
don't
it.
give a defeater, we're just gonna move on to the next person.
A defeater. Oh,
Yeah, you're not
yeah.
giving-
I mean,
you're
that was
not
the
giving
only
any
trait. Yeah,
pushback.
no, that was it. Synth, can you DM me those arguments for veganism you have?
I got you. Yeah, I'll do that. DM me so I can remember to do that though, because I'm probably gonna go to bed after this.
Okay, let's get you some comp. Well, I invited Ink. I don't know if he's. Yo, tell Ink to.
Is my internet going out or is it on your end?
No, you should be good.
I bet. Debate me. Hey, Cynthia, we can debate on abortion. We can debate on abortion. You fucking low tier.
Or is he spazzing already? Look, Ink, I'm not trying to be mean to you, so just try your best.
Do you
Chill
want
out.
to
Relax.
debate on the motion? Yes or no?
I'm
Do you want to
down
do an abortion?
to
Yes or no?
debate you. I just want you to just relax for a second, right? You just do
I'm
it like
actually really saying, do you want
immediately.
to debate on
Look,
abortion?
here's
Yes or
like a
no?
debate tip. Here's a debate tip. If you want people
How do
to
we
think that
answer
you're
from
winning the debate, the first thing you can do
Oh.
is probably prioritize, like, have you heard of ethos, pathos, and logos from Aristotle?
Yes, I'm answering it. I'm
Right.
putting a question.
You're
How
losing on
does it relate
ethos
to my
right now.
question?
You're taking big
I'm
ethos
asking,
hits.
how is it relevant to my question? Like, can you give me an explanation how this is relevant to my question?
What I'm telling you is you need
So,
to
what's
chill out and
creative
relax. I'm
activity
not saying
of
it's
that?
relevant to your
Answer my
question because we
question.
haven't started
How does it
debating
relate
yet.
to my debate?
We haven't started debating
I'm
yet.
sorry, repeat that again.
What?
I'm
You want me to
sorry,
repeat
your
it
mic is
again for
ass.
you? Are you
Repeat that
okay?
again.
Yeah, my mic is the ass one. You so
Your
got
mic
me,
is
bro.
ass.
So look, I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay. There's ethos, there's pathos, and there's logos. And when you immediately jump into a debate and start freaking out and like insulting the other person, you lose on ethos, and people start
I'm
not
sorry,
liking
but
you.
how this is relevant?
So what
Like,
you need to do
okay. Listen, but I'm gonna
is
do
try
abortion. Yes
your
or no?
best for
I'm
the
gonna do
debate
abortion. Yes or no?
happens to not poison the well against
Or we're gonna
yourself.
do abortion.
Okay?
Yes or no? That's what I'm
I'm
gonna
down to
do
do
abortion.
abortion with
Yes
you. I
or
already
no?
told you yes to this. I already told you yes. You didn't pay attention. Of course I'm down
Oh
to
my
do
god.
abortion debates with you. I've
Okay.
said it a million times in a row.
But
Why are you stuttering?
so you ready to do an abortion debate? Yes or no?
How many
I'm
times in a row do
sorry.
I have to answer yes to
Is
you?
that supposed to be rhetorical? Am I supposed to get pressed? I'm
What is
sorry.
this
Is that
guy
supposed to be
doing?
rhetorical? Am I
Get
supposed
this
to
guy
get
out of
pressed?
here.
Like,
Get this guy out of here.
I'm
Are you
saying, like,
drunk?
is this supposed to be rhetorical? Like, I'm
You sober?
confused.
All right, bro.
That shit was ass. What the fuck?
Okay. Pick NL Hero or Pack.
I don't know. Fucking whoever. I don't know any of these people. I think I know Ghost. I think Ghost is the if Ghost is the Ghost I'm thinking of, I think I know Ghost.
Okay.
Yo, Sinthe,
Hello.
what's up? Do you want to debate on why you lost the flow?
If you have a proposition you want to debate, let me know. But I
Yeah,
think
I'll
that the
defend the
audience can judge
proposition
who
that
went
you
out of the
lost.
flow debate.
Yeah, I'll defend the proposition that you lost the flow.
Okay, you want to debate that?
Yeah.
Okay. So my observation in that debate was that what Flo was doing is kind of like spamming words and like pretending to know about things and then didn't. How do you respond to the fact that at the beginning of the debate, I made up a bunch of random bullshit and then Flo pretended to know what it means?
To not wait. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Retard
it was a
alert.
region change, but again, you said that you put into question a lot of
Change
words
your
that he
region.
made up. So again,
Mhm.
why is that going
That's
to be
right.
relevant to him losing?
Because he pretended to know a thing he didn't really
Okay,
know, which
pretending to
optically
know
is
something
bad.
means you lose a debate. Yes or no?
In general, it can count against you.
That's irrelevant. Answer the question. And what do you actually?
Yeah,
First
no,
off,
it's not
if it
irrelevant. I'm
is
telling you, it's
relevant, then what is
evident
the
in
relevancy?
favor of the thing that you
If it's going to be the case
dispute.
that he lost a debate to this, then I want to know the reasoning or the
Right. You understand? I
major
can give you.
mechanism going to
You
work in
take
order
evidence to
to
be a
achieve
reason,
that
right?
goal.
You take evidence to be a reason, right?
You said, do I take evidence to be a reason? What's
Yeah.
the relevance?
Because you just said that it's not a reason.
Evidence under the account of what exactly? What do you take evidence to be for it to be a reason? If you're going to
Just
say
what
that evidence is going to
Bayesian.
be a reason, then why am I motivated to believe in this thing?
Bayesian is the answer to your first question.
Okay, how does it answer the first question?
Because your question was, what account of evidence am I using? The standard Bayesian account.
Okay, and that would be?
He doesn't even know. Do you know what
You
Bayes'
can
theorem
certainly
is?
claim that I don't know, but that's not going to defeat the claim.
I'm
What are
just
you
saying that
referring
it's
to? I don't
something
know.
which will increase your prior probability after taking it in.
Okay, why are we assuming that it does that again? Like that's just going to be a beg of the question. I'm going to ask you again. Why is it going to be the case that this can actually count as evidence towards the view
That was a
you're
different question, so you're
advocating?
not asking it again. So
No, it wasn't. That
your
was literally the
the
same
reason
question.
why you
It was
wouldn't
Bayesian.
normally
Why
ask
is it
the
going to
reason
be?
why you normally wouldn't ask something like this is because you already agreed that it does count in favor of it. So that's all
I just
evidence
did. You
is.
never. Yeah, I just didn't say that. That's just going to be
You
a
did.
mistrack. I
You
said,
did say
why
that.
is it going to be the case? Because I'm agnostic to it being able to perform this mechanism of doing this thing. So that's going to be a really
Doing
bad
this
mistrack.
thing.
Let's get back
Perform
on
this
the
mechanism
substance.
of doing this
Wait,
thing.
wait, relax. I know you're trying to
These
get
people
away
just
from me
say
now, but
random words.
okay.
This is so
So
ass.
what is going to be the listen? You said that he lost because he put into question. I mean, he put into question
Right.
something that you made up, and that he was pretending to make up words.
No, he didn't
Why is that
put
going to
into
mean
question
no? That's
something I
literally
made
what you
up. He
said.
pretended to think what I made up was actually some real turn of
Okay,
phrase
again,
that he
even if
knew
that's
the
gonna
meaning
be
of,
the reasonability for him
which is
losing,
an L.
why is that why is that
Yeah,
relevant towards him losing?
prolonged,
First off, what's
agreed.
gonna be the theory?
Prolonged in chat
Okay,
is so
listen, what's
real.
gonna be the theory of what's gonna be the theory of
You
concession?
and it, you want to do something more interesting, like theism versus atheism?
It behaves in a way that is actually going to correlate to him losing. You're actually losing
People
that
in
way.
chat want us to debate theism versus atheism.
You said people in chat want you to debate theism. I don't care what they want. I'm debating you on this, and you engage with the proposition.
You already lost.
Again,
You
what's
already
going
lost. I accept your
even
concession.
if he, no,
I
you're
accept
getting
your
beat up like
concession.
really badly now. Like even if he made the claim right that it's just going to be the case that he pretended to know words. Why
It's
does
just
that
going to
mean
be
he
the
lost
case,
the game?
right? What is this fucking Apollo rhetoric plague? This is crazy.
There's no Apollo
Everyone
rhetoric.
just
I
like
know that
spills
he's
out
your
of the dead
slayer
air with
3
stupid
times
ass
now,
words.
so you're gonna
They're like
reference him by some.
probability raising, right? The
Bro,
play.
could be
Jesus,
that they call
genuinely,
him
what's wrong with you
a lot.
people?
You
Stop it.
actually
Fucking stop.
Okay.
Bring up the next one. Look for the
Yo,
next
Sinthe, would you accept like Flo, Tron? Like, who would you accept as a judge?
one. Eric.
Anyone else?
No.
All right, bro. Are you familiar with ZFC?
Zermello, Frankel choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And are you familiar with Axel's anti-foundationalism?
Are this normal? This what you guys always do?
Is that a no?
It's just obscurantism.
I
Like,
mean,
what's the
if that
point?
if that's just to say you're not familiar with it, that's fine.
Well,
I guess
I'll
we're not going to debate.
well, what I'm going to tell you is that we can debate whether or not it's the case that you can affirm some proposition, so long as it's the case that you can, for me, give your account of your theory of change. Can you give an account of your theory of change?
So we can debate whether or not it's the case that I can affirm a proposition, so long as it's the case that I can, for you, give an account of my theory of change.
That's right. Go ahead.
We can debate whether that can be the case. What modality is being indexed there?
Logical.
Okay. And do you think that you have a way of determining what is logically possible?
Yeah.
And I assume you're going to be taking the negation?
Relevance?
What do you mean relevance? You just said that's what we can debate.
What I said we can debate is different from the question you just asked.
All right, bro. This kid's a troll.
That's what you're doing. You came up here to troll. You did like the stupid obscurity thing. That's what you're all doing.
I offered like judges,
You tried to,
and you said you're only accepting
look,
Eric.
I can tell you.
And then I asked you what you're
I
familiar
do know
with
what
in, like, set
ZFC
theory.
is. Yeah, I do know
and
what
then I
ZFC
asked you if
is.
you're familiar with
I
like
was able
what
to give you an explanation.
anti-foundationalism was.
I was give you an
And
explanation
you
of
weren't familiar
ZFC.
with that.
If you want
That's
to,
fine. And
are
then you wanted to give
you
me like a troll
familiar
proposition.
with
Yeah, you're not gonna outdo me
theories
in this.
of choice? I've already outdone you. You're trash.
No, you're getting beat on Sint. That's why you lost.
You're losing
some
badly, and you're getting submissive with that voice.
Like I can tell you.
I'm
wanna
loving that
flirt with
submissive
me. Like,
voice.
that's fine. I'm not
I am
like,
flirting with
into
you.
that.
You are.
But, like,
To get that gay list.
everyone in the audience can tell that I beat you.
This is
You
so
know,
gay, bro.
I'm a minor, by the way.
Yo,
but-
Synth,
Come on,
okay.
bro.
I mean, not Synth, Val, are you gonna
Look.
run a prop or should we move on?
Well, I would need like a judge. So
This is so annoying. Why is it that every single person in the server does the same bet?
Yo, Synth, let's debate, bruh.
What's up?
Yo, hey, I'm getting back. For all the homies who went down. Flo, Amon, Vale, I'm getting back. Pick a proposition to get beat on by the opposition, Loter. Come on, let's go.
Oh my god. This is like suicide inducing.
Rip your hormone blockers if you don't pick a proposition to get beat on by the opposition. It's simple
Okay,
as
now
that, you know?
now apparently people are doing like all trannies are pedophile memes in the pop out chat. If that's gonna be the bit here, then what I'm gonna
I don't care. Yo,
what
I
I'm
don't
gonna
care
need
about
is
the
like a
fucking
minimum
feelings.
age
Pick a
requirement
proposition to
before
get beat
people
on by
come
the
up on the
opposition,
stage.
bitch.
All right,
Jesus
you guys
Christ.
are cooking it, chat. You guys gotta lock in, bro.
Minimum age requirement. Like unironically, if somebody comes up on stage, they better be 18.
Yo, okay. Yo, Ghost. Yo, Ghost, how old are you?
Yo, I'm 20. It was good,
It
bro.
looks like he's server muted.
Yo, it was good.
Oh no, I
Sinthe?
local muted him. I think it's because he was spamming or something in chat. No,
Okay. I'll go fuck
Me-
myself.
that was my fault. I have no beef with you. What's up?
Yeah, are you down to debate theism? I'll just defend it.
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Let's get into the argument. I'm not gonna be using any of that jargon stuff, but yeah, it's just basically if you talk about the way and then you course the conversation, you concede, but the debate is gonna be about God exists, the theistic base God. If no one has proven that God doesn't exist, therefore God exists. Science cannot explain how the universe began, therefore God exists. God exists because the Bible says God exists. Many great philosophers actually believed God exists, therefore God exists.
Look, I'm genuinely never coming back to this server. All these people are
Bro.
gross. You gotta stop.
I prayed and something good happened.
No, bro, yo, Sinthe, these people do not represent the server, bro.
Every single fucking one has been asked so far. Like
Nah,
the most respectable one of them
yo.
all has been Flo. Flo. I was being so fucking mean to Flo. I regret it. Flo's been so far the most honest of all of them, and he was still doing this LARP shit. Flo, bring Flo back.
I was not.
You were doing the hella LARP shit.
No, I was. But listen, let me clarify, bro.
The Sinthe
I didn't.
logical problem people. Oh my god.
I was not fucking saying I knew what you were talking about. I just said I was
Shut the
probably.
fuck up, bro.
Like,
Stop.
What?
Oh my god. Look, do you want to like talk like normal?
Yeah, we was talking normal. I'm just trying to see how does.
Here's the thing. I'm only gonna have a conversation if what you're willing to do is have a conversation where like the audience can actually follow what's being argued about, and where we're not just both spamming out and spazzing with the world's most retarded jargon spam.
My nigga, we're talking about continental philosophy. If you're thinking we're gonna be so pertinent to the we're talking about continental philosophy. If you think we're gonna be so pertinent, the audience can try to track.
Nauseating.
It's obviously not gonna be the case.
Nauseating. Nauseating. Gross. Disgusting.
What's gross?
All right. Is there like anybody who's actually going to argue a point?
I just said I was
arguing.
arguing.
The new rules from this point forward to prevent these people from doing the spaz shit. The new rule is that like anybody who wants to have a conversation has to be doing it on some fucking applied ethics subject.
Guys, where's the spazzing I've done?
It was Saucy who did like fucking veganism. Saucy actually engaged with the topic. Like maximal respect to Saucy. No shit talk on Saucy. I almost forgot because Saucy was so like
logical nihilism
good faith.
depends on naive set theory. That's what Saucy said.
Yeah, awesome, bro. I don't care.
Debate or move on.
that guy. But look,
I'll debate anybody on a topic as long as it's something that's like an applied ethics topic. I don't want to have any more of these fucking conversations on jibber jabber. So gay, so fucking AIDS. The most fagged out shit of all time. The most fucking paused AIDS monkey shit I think I've ever had to listen to.
All right, okay, let me see. Okay.
Excuse me, hello?
Excuse you.
Yo, Plum,
hello, sir. I'm 25 years old. Hello, you're agreeing, okay. Do you want to do like abortion, young man?
What the fuck is this shit? Yeah, sure, bro.
Okay, what proposition do you want me to affirm? I'll just say like pro-choice is true, or like pro-life is true, pro-circumstance is true.
Whichever one you think.
All right. I want you to do the eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Beliefs.
But I want you to do the eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Look, I'm not. This gay shit has to stop. I'm interested in talking to people about their actual beliefs. Faggot. I'm willing to talk to people about their actual views.
Look, I just say pro-choice is true.
They have to be real propositions.
Position.
They have to be things.
I'm telling you the conclusion.
Okay, you have something to say. Go ahead. Jesus Christ.
If you are listening to me in any tense, then the pro-choice position is true. Affirmation of the anti-sin, affirmation of the consequent.
Yeah, why would I?
Okay. Why are you guys doing it? Yo, why are you guys doing this?
I was warned about this shit too. I fucking who was it that warned me? Vanilla Near, you warned me. Fucking Single Phoenix, you warned me. Fucking Lex warned me. Fucking everybody warned me about this shit. This is what the server does. Jesus Christ.
That's not true.
I was so warned. This sucks, bro.
Oh, I got somebody for you that won't troll. Hold on. IFL, you hear him? It will be either IFL or Griff.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Okay, Griff, do you want to take it? Griff, you're on the stage.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Go ahead.
Does it have to be applied ethics, or could we do meta ethics? Because I know, aren't you?
Yeah, meta ethics, cool. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm down to do meta ethics. So what I mean, I was saying that as like a kind of like exaggerated thingy. What I really mean is just that I want a conversation where the audience can follow and figure out who's winning on substance. Well, because I don't want a debate where people can just say random ass words and make shit up. That drives me fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah,
But yeah,
I
meta
hate
ethics is
that gay
fine.
shit. I'm an aerotheorist, but I'm more interested to hear your position. Because I've heard you're a realist. I've seen a few videos, but I just don't pay too much attention to like debates half the time.
I've got my new so I've been on like a long hiatus. My new position is like kind of weird. I don't know what to call it, but I think I'm gonna call it like meta-ethical Bayesianism or something. I'll run through the idea though.
All right.
So for grounding out realism on ethics, I'm kind of doing a move similar to like yeah, I don't want to get jargony, but like Hume's ontological argument.
Yeah.
I'm saying because we have some like because there is some chance that moral realism is true, and there's also some chance that if moral realism is true, it's wrong to punch babies in the head, and there's some smaller chance that if moral realism is true, it's right to punch babies in the head. We've got more reason to believe that if moral realism is true, it's wrong than right, and a reason to believe something's more likely to be right than wrong is a moral reason, and so we just do have moral reasons. So that's like the core of my argument. That's not formalized, but like that's the idea.
Could you expand on it a little bit? Because it seems kind of to run into the same problems that Hume typically has about that position, but maybe you could expand on it a little bit more.
I think there are some arguments that have to respond to that are the same ones Hume has to. But I think for a lot of them, I think that the Bayesian approach is going to get me out of it. Because all I'm saying is just that we should be fallibilists on moral realism being true. Like, if I was to ask, I'll phrase it as a question. If I was to ask you, is there any chance moral realism is true? Would you say it's like 0%, or would you say it's some non-0% chance?
What's the error theorist? I'd probably want to say there's a 0% chance.
You don't have to as an error theorist.
Well, yeah, but I tend to think that most error theorists would say that it's a 0% chance.
I would be really surprised actually if most did, but you're saying it, which is what's important here. So what I would say is just that if there's a 0% chance that moral realism is true, then in principle, it should be impossible to give you any kind of evidence to ever convince you moral realism is true. Could you be possibly convinced?
I don't know if I could possibly be convinced that moralism is true.
So just in essence, if it was the case that I was to give you like some like incredibly powerful argument, that wouldn't move you at all. You still end up with a 0% chance, right?
Well, when you say incredibly powerful argument, it seems like you would just use that instead of saying that it's possibly true.
Well, what I'm telling you is, if I was to give you some incredibly powerful argument in favor of moral realism as being true, like some crazy updating, like 1,000 times updating piece of evidence, would that move you at all?
I would have to look at the evidence, but if there was evidence, presumably.
Okay, so if then evidence can in principle change your view, so it can't be 0%, right?
Well, that's if the evidence does exist.
No, even if the evidence doesn't exist. If evidence in principle can change your view, then you can't be starting out with a 0% prior.
Well, do I have... Okay, I guess since I said that I think it does have to be false, so it would be starting out at 0% prior. Could we just not have really low priors on it?
You could have really low priors, but then I can use my argument again.
I guess.
Because then it's moral realism is possibly true, right?
It doesn't seem convincing to like... Because presumably if you're an error theorist, like, I don't think this is going to be convincing to most anti-realists. Even. I think
if I was an anti-realist, it'd be convincing to me personally, but I'm not really interested in talking about whether or not it's like convincing to them psychologically. I think this is good Bayesianism, right? I think we're using Bayesianism right. So which is what I care about. And if somebody has to deny Bayesianism to deny moral realism, to me that seems like a huge cost.
When you say you're using Bayesianism right, are you just using that based off the prior point that you just gave?
Yeah, I'm saying that like there is some non-zero probability that moral realism is true. And there's also lopsided probabilities that if moral realism is true, that it's more likely to be wrong than right to punch a baby in the head. I'll walk through that too, actually, because I want to make sure we're actually in agreement on that. Do you agree that if moral realism was true, that it's probably more likely that it's wrong to punch a baby in the head than right to punch a baby in the head?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. So you've got evidence to believe it's more likely to be wrong than right to punch a baby in the head, right?
Yeah.
Which, if you have if you have a reason to believe that something is more likely wrong than right with respect to stance-dependent reasons, isn't that just the same as having a stance-dependent reason?
Yeah.
Right, and so you're saying you do have a stance-dependent reason.
But does that give me credence to saying that moral realism is more likely to be true?
Well, actually, you just said that moral realism is true.
When I say that stance-dependent reasons do exist?
Yeah, you're saying there are stance-dependent reasons, yeah.
I thought it was stance-independent reasons.
That's what I said.
You said stance-dependent.
No, independent.
Oh, if you're saying stance-independent, I don't know if I would agree with that.
Wait, so you don't think that if stance-independent reasons exist, they're more likely to point against punching babies than in favor
No, I
of
do
punching
agree
babies?
with that. I thought you said, do I agree that stance-independent reasons exist?
I did, and you said yes.
No, I thought you said that, do you agree that stance-dependent reasons exist? I'm sorry. That's why I said that.
No worries. we'll say Sears or something, like SIR.
If you're just going to say that stance-independent reasons do exist, or that if they did exist, they would be more likely to be wrong to punch babies, I would agree with that.
Which means that from your current perspective, you have reason to believe that it's more likely that punching babies is objectively wrong than objectively right.
Can we not just resolve that out under an anti-realist dispute?
I don't think so, which is the whole point of the argument. But do you agree with what I said there?
I agree with the sort of like inference that if we did have stance-independent reasons, it would be stance-independently wrong to punch a baby. But I don't agree.
But that's not what I was asking.
Well, did you not ask whether
I asked it earlier, but let me clarify, because I think we're kind of getting in the weeds. I think we're getting a little bit lost in the sauce. So I want to focus in. What I'm asking you is, from your current perspective, it sounds like you are saying you have more reason to believe that it's objectively wrong than objectively right to punch a baby in the head. Is that correct?
No.
No, you think that? But if moral realism is true, then you think it's more likely wrong than right to punch a baby in the head.
It could just be that I'm confused on what it means for a stance-independent reason to suggest that.
Maybe that's if you want to.
It seems like some of our background commitments might impede on that.
Well, it wouldn't matter really, right? Because all I'm saying is just that you have more reason to believe that it's objectively wrong.
You have
than
reason
right
to believe that it's wrong. I don't know if you have reason to believe that it's objectively wrong.
Well, you have. That's not exactly what I think. You're getting kind of like lost in the sauce here. Let's walk step by step. So, what I'm asking you is, if you did the probabilities, what's more likely? It's objectively wrong to punch babies in the head, or it's objectively right to punch babies in the head?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I was zoned out.
You're an error theorist, but what's more likely out of these two propositions? It's objectively wrong to punch babies in the head, or it's objectively right to punch babies in the head?
I would probably just stay agnostic on that.
So you think there's some probability that moral realism is true, but you don't think it's the case that if moral realism was true, one of these things is more likely than the others?
Well, I don't know if I would have to... I don't know if just because I believe on moral realism, that I have to believe that one set of actions is morally wrong or morally right.
Well, obviously, for either of them to be true, moral realism would have to be true, right?
Yes.
Okay. And one of them, if moral realism is true, is more likely than the other, right?
Maybe. It could just be
I'm asking
it could just be that punching a baby doesn't have to do with ethics objectively. It could
be the case.
It could just be that we're so intuitively wrong in what we think about ethics that this is even the same realm of actions as murder or rape.
Rounding it back up, what we're talking about is not a matter of what's possible. We're asking what's likely, right?
Well,
what's more like, if moral realism is true, what's more likely? It's wrong or right to punch babies in the head?
Yeah, I'm saying I would just stay agnostic on whether it is right or wrong.
So just to be clear, if you were
other evidence, because it seems like the only evidence I think we have are going to be subjective reasons.
So I want to make sure that it's clear here. If you were convinced today that moral realism was true, you wouldn't be you would be agnostic on whether or not it's objectively wrong to punch babies in the head?
I don't know if I would I would try to resolve the answer. I'm agnostic on whether it's an ethical action or if it's right or wrong, yeah.
Right, but that's not what I asked you. If you were convinced today of moral realism, would you be agnostic on whether or not it's okay to punch babies in the head?
Well, I would have to reflect on it first. That's why I'm not
reflect on it now,
a clear answer. if I'm reflecting on it now, we haven't cleared up whether we do have stance-independent reasons.
We don't have to clear that up. I'm asking you about reflecting on the probabilities.
Okay, reflecting on the probabilities, I would still stay agnostic.
So, if you were convinced today that moral realism was true, you'd be agnostic.
I would probably hash it out, but at that point, it's after. And if you're gonna say we have to update right now on it, I'm confused on what we'd have to update on the probability.
Look,
point right now.
you're getting all lost, and you're like going in directions I'm not saying, and you're saying if you're saying this, then this. Well, I'm not saying that, right? Let's focus. What I'm saying is very simple, and we're getting like super in the weeds. I'm asking you today, if you were convinced that moral realism was true, would you hold the belief that it's objectively wrong to punch babies in the head?
Under my applied ethical sense, probably, but
right, probably.
That's not gonna have to. That's not me updating because moral realism is true. That's me updating because of my applied ethical stances or normative stances.
I don't care what your reason is. Your answer to the question was yes.
Well, but the reason we're not updating on it, or we're not updating on realism, we're updating on the applied senses or the ethical senses.
So the answer to my question is yes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so do we agree? That would mean that it's more likely that punching the babies in the head is objectively right objectively wrong than objectively right?
No.
No. But if moral realism being true would be necessary for either of them to be true, right?
For either of them to be true. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. And if moral realism is true, then it's more likely that punching babies in the head is wrong.
Under my stance, yes.
Which is just the same as
answer.
Yeah,
this answer is going.
No, hold on. Stop, bro.
I don't know why you're being
so
mad.
confused.
Hold on. Maybe I'm confused, but
you're very confused, man. I'm trying to help you.
Just let me finish.
Okay.
Okay. If we ask like a total psychopath, hey, if you're convinced that morals actually do exist, do you think it would be okay to kill people still? Like his answer might not change, and so you artificially raise that probability that it's actually stance independently right to kill people.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to what I was saying because none of that should actually matter. So, and you didn't ask a question, so I don't feel like I'm dodging you or anything.
Matter?
Because it doesn't respond. It's not a question. It's not responsive to my argument.
Yo, look, I don't know if you guys. Wait, 1 second. Maybe you guys want to do like another 3-4 minutes. Everyone in the side chat wants you guys to do a different debate. Move on.
Yeah. So look, I'll round it out for you, and hopefully you'll be able to see this from like a different perspective. You think that if you said yes, if moral realism is true, then it's the case that punching babies in the head is more likely. Punching babies in the head is more likely. For it to be objectively wrong, it has to be the case moral realism is true. That just is the same as to say it's more likely that punching babies in the head is objectively wrong than objectively right. That doesn't mean that it's more likely than not. It's more likely than out of those two propositions, right? So it doesn't have to be more likely than not because you can still be an anti-realist in the meantime, but you understand that it's more likely that it's objectively wrong to punch babies in the head than objectively right to punch babies in the head. You should now be able to acknowledge that.
Well, I didn't say it's more likely under like a universal sense.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, let's just leave it here and just, We thank you, Griff. You can find us at discord.gg/kglounge. IFL, how old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay, Sinthe doesn't want to talk to you.
Wow.
That's unfortunate. Where is Rookie? All right, what up, Lance?
Oh wow. Sint, it's been a long time.
What's up? Is that Smoothie?
No, bitch. This is Ice.
Ice. Ice. Oh my fucking god! I'm so sorry. Your voice is sounding similar to me. I'm so fucking sorry, Ice.
We haven't debated in so long since it's been a very long time.
Yeah, it has.
And look, I always put this as a precaution. If I misgender you, it's not out of spite.
No, I know.
Yeah, but no pun intended. Let's debate gender.
Okay.
I know that's your best topic, right? I think, or
It's
maybe
definitely. No, I can defend the fuck out of it. It's not my best topic.
Okay. Well, nor to say you're real familiar with that topic. So yeah, like I guess give me the argument on presumably why you might be a woman, maybe any other trans out there.
Yep. So I think it's the case that on my account of what a woman is, I'm just gonna trivially fit under the definition. I don't even think you're gonna disagree. But what I'm talking about when I talk about
we can keep it really natural language.
Yeah, no worries. What I mean when I say woman, I'm just talking about a certain type of neurological state. I think it's the case that there is an aspect of the brain responsible for the social roles of gender, as in responsible for the fact that we have a feminine one and a masculine one. And when I say somebody's a woman, I'm just saying that there's neurology is oriented in such a way that it's their brain guides them towards the feminine one.
Okay. So let me ask you a question for a second. Would you say in the case that, somebody like LeBron James, like, let's just say like, somebody does an examination on LeBron James' neural system and they come to find the case that LeBron James has this type of thing you're talking about.
Sport.
Would you be okay with LeBron James classifying as a woman, going in these woman spaces and, any other thing?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So since I can understand this, you're fine with LeBron James taking a fat ass piss in the stall next to your mother.
Who cares? Yeah, what?
Okay, let's keep investigating this even further. Like, so would you be fine with LeBron James competing?
Just for the record, it's not a bullet bite that I think that like trans women should be able to use the fucking women's restroom.
Look, you don't believe that's a bullet bite, that's fine. I'm not gonna sit up. We're not gonna sit up
This is just
here.
you balking at my position. You don't have an argument.
No, I'm just wait. So since I'm just asking to fully understand the community. Is that an issue for me to fully understand the community?
If you want to really fully understand, but if you're just going to gawk at the views and not make counter arguments, come on now.
Listen, the whole point of these questions here is to understand how consistent you are. Yes, it's a consistency test. That's all that's happening here. So let's calm down.
Okay.
I know it got a little hot in here. Just relax. I know you're being interrogated. You might not like questions, but just relax. So would you be fine with LeBron James in the WNBA? You think that's a fair competition?
Do you have like a counter argument or not?
I'm asking you clarifying questions.
You're asking me whether or not I think it's the case that he can be in the WNBA?
Yes. Like, do you think that's fair for the competition?
I think it's irrelevant to the topic. You could take either view. With my view.
Well, look, I'm just saying, like, presumably, if that's what we think a woman is.
How about this? You can pick yes or no if you think either of them would contradict my view.
I'm on phone. Wait, I'm on phone. So let's not do the over talking, okay?
What do you mean you're on phone? You've been talking the entire time.
Yeah, but you're trying to over talk.
You're over talking me right now.
I don't have my look. Last time I had my nice.
That's so great. You can't constantly talk over and then complain like I'm doing it to you.
Wait, you're cutting me off.
This is the saddest. No, you're cutting me off.
No, you cut me off to cut me off in reference to me explaining my overall point.
Look, do you have like actual counter arguments or not?
I was gonna wait. So firstly, the line of questioning was gonna lead to the general argument. You ever heard
that? Just go straight to it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So look, I'm just gonna say this again, right? I do think you're dodging
Please
my.
Don't say something again. Oh, I just told you it doesn't matter to the fucking point.
You know what? Look, I'm just give the argument. Are you gonna let me give the argument or not? Okay.
What race are you?
So the argument goes as follows.
What
Due to the laws of
the
middle, I think you can only be banned. Yo, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. What race are you?
Okay, what race am I?
What race are you?
What the fuck?
What race are you?
Can I ask for the relevance?
No, you're dodging my question. Asking for relevance.
Why are you asking
for relevance?
Did him start trolling against me? Did I force the troll out of him or her?
Look, the point I'm making is like a performative point. I'm saying that like obviously questions need to be relevant. You asking random things, you could just like gawk at it. You want? Bro, what are you doing? Stop.
Bro, what do you want to respond?
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
Oh, no, bring him back on. Let him fucking finish. He's just kind of like he's doing a little thing. Let him do his thing first.
You guys are gonna do something?
Yeah.
Yeah, ice request up.
Bring it back up. I don't know why I got kicked.
All right. Can I finally get the argument now?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know why I was really dropped, but the argument goes as follows. Because of the law of excluded middle, you can be man or female And I don't think you could ever change the initial identity. I don't think you could ever change the initial identity. What's going to be the argument that you can change your logical identity?
Shut the fuck up. Bro said the law of the excluded middle means you have to be a male.
Yeah, and I don't think you can change
No,
that.
it would
You'd have
be, look. The law of the excluded middle would have to mean you'd be either male or not male.
No, wait, no. Female would be the other value.
Do you think that female is the same as not male?
Yes.
Are rocks female?
We're talking about in the sense of a gender.
Are rocks female?
We're talking about in the sense of gender.
Answer my question. Are rocks female?
Rocks are not. Actually, you know what? Listen, it could be the case they might be in some different way. I don't know.
Are they female?
I've never examined a rock. I've never look. We have never examined a rock to find a gender, so it's possible.
Can dead people be male?
Yeah. What's the problem with that?
What is your definition of male?
Wait, where are your point?
Answer my question.
Okay, what was your question? I missed it, to be honest. I didn't dodge. I actually missed it.
What is a male?
Oh, you're trying to like meme out with that one guy who asked.
No, answer me for real. What is a male?
Okay, yeah. So I think a male is going to be a set of a human that has all the things that we typically consider to be a male.
Bro,
and then you're like,
male
what are those
showing
things?
up in your definition. Come on now. This
I
is like a
gave you a
level 0
definition.
response. This is so AIDS. No, give me your definition. Make sure the word doesn't show up in the definition.
I got
It's not
you.
really
I
clarified.
got you. I'll say it again. So all traits. A male is going to be a human that has all traits true of a man. Those are different terms.
True of a man.
Those are different terms.
So a man has to be an adult, right?
Not necessarily.
Really? What is a man?
Yeah, so a man is just going to be something true of all male traits.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so a newborn baby boy, is that a man?
In some usage, yeah.
Some usage. In your usage.
Yeah, in some usage, you might say that's a man.
Get the fuck off stage. Get the fuck out of here.
Rookie.
That was the best thing of the night.
Yo, what's up, Big Synth?
What's up? Rookie age check.
Nah, I'm 18.
Okay. Do your thing.
Yeah. Do you affirm the logical problem of evil?
No.
Oh, it's interesting.
I'm actually like my religious views are kind of weird. But what I would say is I definitely affirm Bayesian problem of evil as like a problem for all good gods. I don't think it's a problem for demiurgic or deistic gods though.
Yeah, I'm talking about the triune being.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely going to be a strong update against the view.
Well, I mean, from the Christian position, I think there's a contradiction derived to where you either have to give up evil or one of the omni properties.
Sorry, your audio cut out there. You said that? Are you saying the atheist has to give up evil?
No, the theist has to either give up evil or one of the omni properties.
Oh,
from the Christian position.
Oh, okay. Are you hold on? I'm trying to get this. Are you trying to get me to defend theism?
No, I'm defending the logical problem of evil.
Yeah. Is it that I get to pick whatever type of theism I want, or I get to pick like only a type of theism that you're restricting things down to?
Well, I mean, specifically Christian theism.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, okay. All right, so it's just Mackey's formulation. So P1, if God exists, he would prevent all gratuitous evils. P2, all gratuitous evils aren't prevented by God. Conclusion, therefore, God doesn't exist. Modus tollens.
Right, so I'm going to hold to a Gnostic Christian view, which means that evil is actually evidence in favor of my view. It's highly expected on the view that the demiurge created the universe.
Wait, so which premise are you contending?
I didn't hear your premises, my bad.
All right, I'll say them again. So if God exists, he'll prevent all gratuitous evils.
Yeah, that one.
P2. Say again?
That one.
Okay. And so I have like a sub-argument for that premise.
Okay.
So P1, we're just trying to get clear on what God would do. So it just says if a perfectly rational agent is always opposed to X in favor of Y and has no conflicting desires consistent with X, then the agent will take measures to prevent X when able.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then P2, God is perfectly rational, always opposes gratuitous evil in favor of the good, and has no
I disagree with that.
You disagree with that point?
Right. By God here, we mean like the creator of the material world, right?
Yeah, with the triune properties, yes.
Oh well, no, I don't hold to that. I'm holding to a Gnostic Christian view.
Oh well,
I don't have to buy into the triomni properties to be a Christian.
Well, I mean, Christian theism. I mean, you could hold to that. It's logically possible, but the view that the way that I'm entailing a contradiction is from Christian theism, which has
well, this is the real Christian theism. I think that's the fake Christian theism you're talking about. Gnostic Christianity is the true view.
Well, I mean, do you think that there's a contradiction derived from Christian theism, which includes omni properties?
I don't think that's real Christian theism.
But just from that stipulation, you think there's a contradiction?
Yeah, the triomni thing, yeah, is ridiculous. But I believe in like a demiurge, so I don't know why I'd hold to any of that nonsense.
But do you think there's an actual P and not P derived from the triomni properties being true? Because most people don't. They think it's evidence against.
I'll grant you it. Yeah. I'll grant you it for like these ridiculous pseudo Christians who worship the demiurge. But what about my version of the Christian view?
Well, if that being isn't omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent, then no. I think it just gives evidence.
Do you agree that Gnostic Christianity is a Christian view?
Yeah, it's logically possible, but I don't think it's the most commonly held view.
Right, so you don't think it's commonly held. I would agree with that. But I think that's kind of expected on Gnostic Christianity. We expect it to be the case that most people are misguided, and there's a small section of the population which is pneumatic.
Okay, well, do you want to contend the argument?
Well, I am contending the argument. You said a logical problem of evil would be a problem for a Christian view. I give you a Christian view that you agree is a Christian view, in which logical problem of evil is not a problem.
Well, I mean, I updated the stipulation, which enables omni properties in the definition.
So if you want to update past your initial one, just to be clear, you agree the initial claim was wrong, right?
Well, I think it was pretty obvious. I mean, if I have to like tell you that it enables the omni properties, then sure. But
I want to make sure you look. You said earlier that a Christian theist is going to have to issue the logical problem of evil. You said it's going to show a contradiction on their view. Now you're saying it does not show a contradiction on their view, correct?
Yeah, sure. I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in like if you think the argument is sound from stipulation of the omni properties.
I mean, you can maybe make a sound argument. I'm agnostic.
Okay. So the initial two premises are still in contention under the new stipulation. So which one do you contend?
I don't have to contend anything. You already agreed with me. We've got a concession. What's our disagreement now?
Well, the proposition has been updated.
Right, it's been updated, which is to say you've conceded to move to my view.
Well, I mean, I wasn't taking negation in the affirmation because we weren't clear on the proposition.
We were clear on the proposition.
I was intending to convey Christian theism, which embodies omni properties. So I didn't have an understanding of the negation to then concede, right? So we're on the actual proposition that we want to talk about. So you're taking agnostic view.
What we want to talk about? No. You want to talk about.
What?
Right. You want to talk about it, not we.
All right, sure.
I don't think there's a disagreement here.
Wait, okay, so you think there is a contradiction entailed from triomni being? Yes or no?
Is that what you're arguing in favor of?
Yes.
Do you want me to argue against it so you can have a new topic to argue against?
Sure.
Okay. So just to make sure I'm understanding what I'm trying to defend here now, I've got to defend triomni theism, right?
Triomni Christian theism, yes.
I can't defend a triomni Christian theism because I don't think it's an accurate account of Christianity.
What? So are you a Christian?
For the sake of the debate, or are you asking me like for real?
No, because you said it isn't the accurate account of Christianity. So it seems like presumably you hold to Christianity?
Well, no. I can think there's an accurate account of Christianity without it being the case that I hold to Christianity. You're asking me like out of character, genuinely?
Yeah, genuinely. Because I actually believe the LQE is sound.
I don't know. I think I'm up in the air about it, but I definitely don't think it's the case that the triomni shit is I don't think it's the case that triomni shit is something that follows from Christianity.
Okay, well that's just how I'm just using the term. So
yeah, that's how you're using the term. Like I'm not gonna have a dispute with that. I just don't think it's the case that it like makes much sense to call it Christianity by my lights. I probably think that like unironically the reason I went to Gnosticism there to argue with you is because I think it's the most defensible account of Christianity.
All right, okay, but what I
would want to defend, right? Rookie, it seems like there's no objection, like there's no contention, bro.
But there's no way.
You agreed with the only thing I was disagreeing with you on. Like you agreed with me, and so there's not really an argument to be had anymore.
Look, we'll probably do like one or two more stuff, and then we'll probably close down shop.
Okay.
Okay. I got somebody good for you though.
Props to Rookie, by the way. Rookie is actually like good faith, engaged with the argument.
No, yeah, big shout out to Rookie. Yo, Scribble, you're.
Yo,
Hello.
what's up?
What you want to talk about?
Honestly, anything. It doesn't really matter. You like to do a lot of ethics or whatever, so maybe I can debate you on your best. What does matter really what it is, like any prop. Do you have any like what are your thoughts on abortion really? What God
I think abortion. I'd be of the opinion that the pro-choice view is true, but I mean that in like the standard political sense of pro-choice. I understand that people on Discord think that like there's some difference between pro-circumstance and pro-sentience and yada yada. I just mean like the standard political account of what pro-choice means.
Well, actually, what about God rather? Like, want to talk about God?
I think it really depends on what you mean by God. I think it's kind of weird, wacky.
Pro-choice thing. More so,
yeah, sure.
Pro-choice thing. I mean, now the claim itself to say that, okay, well, you're pro-choice, holding pro-choice is true. I'm kind of like an anti-realist on that. So you have to motivate that.
You're an anti-realist on what?
The position that pro-choice is true. So what's meant by I'm an anti-realist that it has it lacks any kind of axiological property outside of like your own conceptual scheme.
Doesn't that just mean that the pro-choicer is correct? We're saying that like abortion is not wrong, and you're agreeing that abortion is not wrong.
Okay. So you said pro-choice is true. That's what you said. I said I'm an anti-realist.
What I'm saying is the claim it's not wrong to have an abortion generally is true.
You gotta come down. You said that you hold to the position that pro-choice is true.
What is a calm down? Jesus. I sound like lethargic. I don't even sound not calm.
Wait, calm down, gang. Like,
I feel like I'm like half passed out. If you accuse me of being like on benzos, that would have worked.
Okay, it's interesting, right? So like I was saying, well, I said I'm an anti-realist. That just means that I think that this lacks any property or any axiological property independent of your own conceptual schema. So for you to
you're just saying you're an anti-realist about values.
No, is that cutting me off? Oh, so for you to say, okay, abortion's going to be permitted or something? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm denying your position because it lacks properties or any axiological property independent of your own conceptual schema. The axiological property we want has value. Lacks value.
Yeah, but no, I know what all the words you're using mean, which is the problem for you here. I'm telling you that if you're saying you're an anti-realist on axiology, that just means that you don't think there's any you're an anti-realist on value statements.
I'm telling you, I'm not interested in axiology. Are you lost?
That's what you just said.
I said I'm an anti-realist in your position, so I'm saying it lacks any axiological property. Not that I'm an anti-realist.
No, being an anti-realist on my position would mean you think my position is not real.
Exactly. So it lacks any axiological property independent of
not what do you think genuinely? What do you think axiology means?
Are you stupid? I think axiology goes into like values and like meaning. It's got
values. I told you what's meant by I just told you. It doesn't mean it lacks axiological properties.
Oh my God! Hold on.
What is bro doing?
So to be an anti-realist just means that you think my position is just not real.
Are you whispering? So, okay, hold on. We have to do the age check. I think you're whispering to avoid keeping up your parents.
It lacks axiological property.
Are you whispering to avoid keeping up your parents?
Preponderance of evidence in favor of the view. So I want
to Scribbled, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear that saying?
Yeah, Scribble, I'm not gonna lie, twin. We on the time constraint. We're about to let Lex and Sinthe debate. Wait, but yo, what the hell is that noise? Yo, Sinthe, we usually debate with judges, but a gauntlet thing, we wasn't obviously gonna have a lot of judges. But if you debate Lex for this last debate of the night, are you fine if it's judged for the record on the side?
Do whatever you want with the judges thing. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
If anybody asks me which judge I pick, I'm gonna just say Eric every time. And if somebody has a problem with that, like I don't know, find somebody who can. I'll debate anybody who will beat me in a debate.
Yo, Jose, are you fine? Are you guys fine with like Jose or Cool Guy giving verdict? Like even if you disagree with the verdict, is for the record, but like for the record.
I don't care about that. Let Eric give his opinion.
Okay. Will Eric post record?
Probably. I think he's here. I don't know.
Oh.
Also, I don't think any of us give a fuck. Who cares?
It's a comp server, so we put the records on the side of the name.
Yeah, do your thing. Lex, is that the kind of thing you care about, Lex?
Eric says sure.
Not at all, to be honest.
Which one is? No, it's fine if you guys don't care. It's just something we do. Which one is Eric though? Because Eric said he'll do it.
Modal 3-step.
Modal 3-step. Okay. Well, I'll let you guys debate, and then we'll let him give verdict. So let me just do the wait. Lex, what's the prop you're affirming?
Objectivism is true.
Objectivism is true. All right.
To be clear, what I mean by objectivism is Ayn Rand's philosophy.
No, I'll let you break it down.
Whoa. Okay.
We're in the KG Lounge. You can find us at discord.gg/KG Lounge. Today's debate is going to be Lex versus Synth on the proposition objectivism is true. The relevance judge will be Eric. And with that being said, you guys got it.
Yeah, so maybe let's just get down to business here. So, I mean, since we both agree there are some conditions under which man flourishes, right?
No.
Well, why don't you accept that?
It's not clear to me there's an account of flourishing that makes any sense.
Well, maybe you can. Maybe I can ask you, what do you understand flourishing to be? So maybe I can see if I can capture it.
I don't. That's what I just said.
Well, I mean, presumably you think there's some definition of it where you think it doesn't.
I mean, I'm fine with appealing to like a Merriam-Webster definition. I don't know about I don't know what the account of Ayn Rand's flourishing is supposed to be. That's my whole point.
Well, yeah. So Rand understands flourishing to just be whenever the conditions are met for man to achieve his purpose.
So I want to make sure I'm understanding here. Is this going to be an argument that all of Ayn Rand's philosophy is true?
Just that objectivism is true, which we start out with.
By that you mean Ayn Rand's. Well, that's just the same thing as to say all of Ayn Rand's philosophy is true.
All right. But to be clear, I'm not defending. I don't have to defend the random social prescriptions or the random economic prescriptions or whatever.
Then I want to figure out what exactly objectivism is supposed to be, because I thought you said it was Ayn Rand's philosophy, and now you're saying it's actually more restrictive.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just so Ayn Rand's philosophy is just generally that you start out with the existence exists assumption, which is just that for anything to be true, existence must exist, and so there are things that are true, and so necessarily existence exists.
Just to make sure I'm understanding here, would her attempt to cross the Izot gap fall under what you're counting as her philosophy?
No, I mean, I take a more updated version, but
not the philosophy of Ayn Rand. I feel like it's just kind of demonic for me to debate you with you arguing in favor of the ridiculous insane. How about you? You hand me some retarded view. Hand me something stupid to defend.
I don't know what it like saving face. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean this retard didn't. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I just wanted to come up and just troll about objectivism. I wanted to come up and troll about objectivism. We were literally talking earlier today about how objectivism is retarded.
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking. What's a view you really hold to that you think is super novel and wacky?
I don't really. I mean, I have my really autistic account of gender, but I mean, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure I really disagree on it.
Oh my god! Yeah, I might not disagree on it, but let me hear. Hold on, let me open up a fucking.
Yeah. So yeah. Just tell me whenever you're
ready.
All right. Yeah. So the idea is something there's the kind of predominant accounts of gender where it's self-ID accounts, which are obviously retarded. There's kind of social accounts or whatever. And mine, I think if you were to try to think about it, it would probably be somewhat close to a self-ID account, but it's not. I think I go a step further back. So I don't think what makes someone have a certain gender is that they have some mental state or something, or they say some sentence, or they conform to something or whatever. I think it's rather that they have some certain relevant kinds of dispositions, where dispositions are being cashed out in this non-committing way, or it's something like Instead of it's like like the super autistic like Thomist stuff where it's like dispositions are like derivative of man's nature or whatever. It's rather derivative of the sorts of ways that their brains are constructed or certain ways that hormones interacted with them in development or whatever. And those kinds of dispositions are what makes them men or women. And then that would capture a lot of intuitions that I think we both probably have about this. Like, like imagine there's a Marine who's like super, super, super fucking closeted, like super masculine or whatever. We'd still both probably want to say that like 5 years before that person comes out and transitions, like they're still a woman. It also captures like trans people having the feeling that they're trans since they're really young, et cetera, et cetera. It also gets around to a lot of like the really autistic self-ID reductios. Like imagine there's a person who's confused about their gender or whatever, like what gender are they, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, this is kind of similar to the I think it's actually analytically equivalent even in like a wacky way to the current thing that I'm positing. You phrase it like you phrase it from the inside perspective. I phrase it from the outside perspective. So like in the same way that like me and you could both point at the same thing, you could be calling it a ceiling, I could be calling it a roof because of the fact that I'm looking at the outside, you're looking from the inside. I think the same is true with the definitions here. Yours is X has the relevant kind of dispositions. I would say X has the relevant kind of neurology, which is the same thing because to have a disposition means your neurology is organized in such and such of a way. Also, if anybody wants to argue against like this both the neutral monism or this type A physicalism, whatever you want to call it, feel free. That's gonna be another debate for some other point in time. But yeah, the X is the relevant kind of dispositions. I think that is what in fact makes somebody a woman. They have the woman type of dispositions or the woman type of neurology in the relevant sense. And probably the types of dispositions you're identifying are the same ones that I would identify as brought about by the neurology, which causes somebody to be compelled towards aligning with the social.
Maybe I can ask you, do you think that gender is like kind of experiential, or do you think it's something over and above that? Or
I mean,
whatever?
I hold that all things are experiential, so trivially on my view,
well,
but
like experiential in like the sense that I'm using. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not sure what. Here's my guess as to the sense you're using it. I like gender is experiential. You mean it's something which is actively experienced by the gender haver, by the woman or something.
Yeah. And
yeah,
then
I don't. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think that would probably. I think dispositions are. I think it's like closer to the concept there because if it's like neurology or whatever, it kind of get vague on if you think that gender is some physical trait or. But I think this is more clear that it's something experiential or something mental. You know what I mean?
So I can't get over this. Some retard in the chat's asking who's winning. There's no fucking debate. We're agreeing. See, I mean, I don't think it's actually the case that there's any difference between those two views. I think it's the case that when somebody is saying something about dispositions, they are just saying something about neurology.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what I mean isn't that we're saying something like relevantly different. What I mean is like, I think it's like a more effective tool for communication because someone could get confused. Like, that's the issue I have with whenever people say like to be a woman is to have a female brain or whatever, because that's just really unclear on what they're actually saying. Because what they're actually saying is something similar to what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's dependent on. I think it really depends on whether or not we're trying to explain it to somebody who's operating in good faith and trying to figure it out, or whether or not you're trying to explain it to somebody who's like actively trying to fight against you.
Yeah.
In that sense, I'd probably say that there's some situations where you might want to say the thing that you're saying, where it's the relevant kind of disposition. There's some where you're probably going to want to say something that's like an external kind of view, like right kind of neurology. If somebody was operating in extreme bad faith, I probably would want to go for the neurology route. Like if somebody was being dishonest with me, I want to be like, well, look, we have a bunch of these fucking empirics. We can just measure it. How are you going to argue with this? We have like Nguyen 2018. We got such and such study, yada yada. And that gives us something where I can just point to the fact. I can say, look, it's right here. You can't argue with it, and that's that. Whereas,
Yeah.
I think if somebody is like engaging in the conversation, that's a situation where I think you probably could use yours and probably get like more understanding from the other person, because then they can touch the thing, right? Like they don't have any access to like the deep ends of neurology research or something. They're not really going to get it. What it's going to do is just shut them the fuck up and make them feel bad. But if you go with your explanation, they can be like, oh, well, no, I do actually have a firsthand experience of what that's like. Like if you tell this to a man, they'll be like, oh yeah, I have these types of dispositions, but the other way, it makes sense to me. Yeah, but it just depends on whether or not you're engaging in a like conversations that kind of require a mutual desire to be collaborative. If two people are competing to look dominant in a conversation, then the correct approach changes.
Yeah, I actually I've used mine in the kind of, search to be dominant or whatever type of conversations, and I found it to be really effective, especially like if I'm in front of an audience, because then, okay, audiences, at least the audiences that I'm trying to appeal to, they'll be engaging and listening to the conversation in the same way that I would be engaging with someone who's like super good faith or whatever, like trying to understand. And then it's just like a more effective tool for the audience, because they're going to be listening, and the audience is going to be like, oh, holy shit, I know what Lex is talking about, but I have no fucking clue what this other person is talking about.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think it's really just it's context dependent which one of these you want to use, but there are definitely situations where I'd want to go with yours, and there are definitely situations where I probably think I'd be worried about going with yours.
Look, guys, look, guys, look, guys, look, guys. Look, guys. Bro,
we're looking.
Sinthe, you've been amazing.
Thank you.
Overly amazing. Lex is a classic goat. We is gonna close down now though. We've been running it good. We got this all wrapped up. So I mean, Seth, I don't know if you probably wouldn't care for none of these debates. Would probably post like it on our channel or something. I don't know. But look, Sinthe.
So I'll tell you, yeah, Phil, if you want to post this on your channel, feel free, but I'm pretty sure it's been filled with slurs and hate speech, half of which came from me. So,
yeah.
If you want to,
we got like an archive channel.
Oh yeah, that's fair. What I would say is, if you want to do this again, we can. If you want to do something, you can upload to your YouTube channel. I'll avoid saying like faggot and tranny and retard every 30 seconds. You actually can.
Okay. Yeah, look, I don't want you to have a bad. Some of the earlier debaters was having a little fun. Don't want you to have a bad taste on the server. But yo, pull up whenever. You always welcome here. We could run a couple more of these in the future. Oh, hold on. Eric said he's flipping the coin for the winner.
Let's go.
How does that work? What do you got to do? Yo, Eric, who's the winner?
Oh, Lex won.
Lex won?
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. All right, with that being said, we're going to close down shop. Wait, let me actually...
Dude, let's go. Since I have a 2 next to my name, and now you have a 1 next to your name. Let's go.